911, what is your emergency?
You had to take me on en masse. Well, I'm going to take you on by myself.
Ask them to help us get a National Guard unit, maybe with a helicopter to... Let's get all the Granby town hall.
You need a National Guard unit and a helicopter.
It started just after 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon in the town of Granby.
This is when we first arrived on scene, and it looked like officers were firing some pretty heavy arms at him.
Got a runaway cat here. He's got armor.
Home video shot by stunned bystanders.
Hello, my name is Marvin Heemeyer. Enough is enough. I'm not going to take it anymore.
A peaceful town shattered. When you think of a bulldozer, you probably picture a powerful machine used for construction and demolition. But in the hands of Marvin Heemeyer, a bulldozer became something else entirely. A tool for revenge, an armored vehicle designed to strike fear and cause mass destruction. But how did this man, once an Air Force veteran, get to this point? Nestled in the heart of Colorado lies the picturesque town of Granby, a serene haven known for its breathtaking landscapes and close-knit community. It was here that Marvin Heemeyer, a skilled welder and Air Force veteran, sought to start afresh, purchasing a 2-acre property in 1992 for his muffler shop. A hard-working and fun-loving man, Marvin was respected for his engineering prowess and willingness to lend a helping hand. However, beneath the surface, tensions were brewing. A series of disputes with powerful local figures would soon push Marvin to the brink, setting the stage for a shocking act of retaliation that would forever shatter the tranquility of this idyllic town. Who was the powerful figure, and how did they clash? Marvin's dream of a peaceful life in Granby soon began to unravel as a bitter feud emerged between him and the influential Dosef family. The seeds of conflict were sown when Marvin outbid Cody Dosef for a prime piece of land adjacent to his muffler shop, a move that would set in motion a chain of events leading to the birth of the Killdozer. The Dosefs, with their sights set on the same property for a concrete batch plant, found themselves at odds with the determined Marvin. The proposed construction of the concrete plant threatened to cut off the only road access to Marvin's business, further stoking the flames of animosity between the two parties. Initially, Marvin agreed to sell his land to Cody Dosef for $250,000, but as tensions mounted, he had a change of heart. In a bold move, Marvin repeatedly increased the asking price, eventually demanding a staggering $1 million. This demand escalation marked a point of no return, as communication between the two sides broke down completely. In 2001, Marvin's worst fears were realized when the Zoning Commission and town trustees gave the green light to the concrete plant, disregarding his vehement objections. Feeling betrayed and enraged by the decision, Marvin found himself standing alone against what he perceived as a grave injustice. Undeterred, he poured his resources into a series of legal battles, spending an estimated $150,000 in an attempt to overturn the town's ruling. However, his appeals fell on deaf ears, leaving him financially drained and emotionally battered. Desperate for support, Marvin turned to the local community, circulating petitions in the hope of rallying allies to his cause. To his dismay, his pleas for help were met with deafening silence, further compounding his sense of isolation and despair. As if the mounting legal fees weren't enough, the Granby government added insult to injury by slapping Marvin with fines exceeding $2,500 for alleged violations, including the storage of junk cars on his property vehicles that were integral to his muffler business. Marvin argued that these fines were unjust, claiming that the government had deliberately cut off his utilities to facilitate the construction of the concrete plant. With each passing day, Marvin felt the walls closing in around him. In a poignant audio recording, he laid bare his anguish, stating,
Because of your anger, because of your malice, because of your hate, you would not work with me. So now, I believe that I have to leave this world with a debt so great to you it can never be repaid until the final judgment. We'll see what that cost is.
These haunting words hinted at the depths of his desperation and foreshadowed the drastic measures he would soon take. As Marvin's world crumbled around him, he retreated into the shadows, his mind consumed by thoughts of retribution. Unknown to those who had wronged him, the skilled welder was quietly setting in motion a plan that would shake the very foundations of Granby. In the solitude of his workshop, Marvin began to transform his Komatsu bulldozer into something the world had never seen before, a formidable machine that would come to be known as the Killdozer. But before we delve into the creation of this infamous vehicle, let's take a step back and explore the man behind the machine. Before the birth of the Killdozer, there was Marvin Heemeyer, a man whose early life and experiences shaped the course of his future. Born on October 28, 1951 in South Dakota, Marvin grew up to become a skilled welder and an Air Force veteran, retiring from service in 1969. The United States Air Force instilled in him a sense of initiative and control over his own life, qualities that would later manifest in unexpected ways.
I am the co-captain of my life. God is first, I am second. Okay? This is where he's taken me. This is where you have tried to control my life. You have tried to be the captain of my life. You do not run my life. You do not determine my income. You do not determine what I desire, what I want, what I deserve. I determine that, and my God determines that. Not you people. No people do that. If they do, then you're a slave to them. And I am not a slave to man. I am a slave to God. And I am a slave to what God tells me I should have.
After leaving the Air Force, Marvin discovered his true passion for welding, a craft that would prove instrumental in the creation of his infamous machine. In 1991, at the age of 38, he embarked on a 6-month vacation to the picturesque area of Grand Lake, Colorado. Little did he know that this temporary escape would become a permanent relocation, as he found himself enchanted by the breathtaking landscapes and close-knit community. Marvin's love for the area led him to purchase 2 acres of land next to West Motor Road in Granby, near his new home in Grand Lake. In 1992, he invested $42,000, a significant portion of his savings, into this property, which would soon become the site of his muffler shop. Leaving behind his former job as a mechanic, Marvin took a leap of faith and established his own business, pouring his heart and soul into his work. Known for his hard-working nature and friendly demeanor, Marvin quickly earned the respect and admiration of those around him. He was the kind of person who would go above and beyond to help anyone in need, valuing friendship and camaraderie above all else. Those who knew him described him as a fun-loving guy, who knew how to balance work and play with a natural talent for engineering and a love for the great outdoors. However, beneath his amiable exterior, Marvin was known for his straight-talking, no-nonsense attitude. He was not one to mince words or shy away from confrontation, a trait that would later come to the forefront as tensions with local authorities escalated. Some even warned that he was a man not to be crossed, a foreshadowing of the events that would unfold in the years to come. As Marvin retreated into the shadows, his mind consumed by thoughts of retribution, he began to transform his Komatsu bulldozer into a machine the likes of which the world had never seen. Marvin spent approximately a year and a half secretly modifying the bulldozer, repurposing it from its original intent of creating a road to his muffler shop into an instrument of revenge against those who had wronged him. With a welder's precision and a vengeful heart, Marvin painstakingly constructed the Killdozer's armor, using thick steel plates that ranged up to an astonishing 1 foot thick in some areas. To further enhance its robustness, he filled the armor with concrete, creating an impenetrable shell that would later prove nearly indestructible. The Killdozer was no longer a mere bulldozer. It had become a fortress on tracks. As he worked tirelessly on his secret project, Marvin equipped the Killdozer with 3 gun ports, each housing a capable weapon: a Ruger Mini 14, an FN-FNC, and a Barrett M82. These gun ports would later be used to fire upon police and anyone who dared to stand in his way during the impending rampage. The inclusion of these weapons served as a chilling reminder of the depths of Marvin's desperation and the lengths he was willing to go to exact his revenge. Throughout the creation of the Killdozer, Marvin made haunting audio recordings that shed light on his grievances and intentions. In one such recording, he lamented,
I hope that the people of Granby learn that the way you punished me over the years that I was down there and how you punished me, for the most part, turned me into a desperate man. And desperate men do desperate things to recover a lot of times.
These words, laden with pain and resentment, hinted at the devastating events that were about to unfold. To maintain the secrecy of his endeavor, Marvin worked primarily at night, away from prying eyes and curious onlookers. He went so far as to set up a temporary home within his workshop, sleeping during the day and toiling away on the Killdozer under the cover of darkness. This clandestine routine allowed him to avoid suspicion and keep his plan hidden from those who might have sought to stop him. As the Killdozer neared completion, Marvin's sense of divine purpose grew stronger. He saw himself as an instrument of justice, chosen to right the wrongs that had been inflicted upon him. In another chilling audio recording, he declared,
I believe that I'm doing the right thing. I don't think God would have let me get this far if it was the wrong thing. I don't think God would have given me the successful life that I had. I call it successful. I think I was a very poor person most of my life. But for who I was and what I was, I think I was a very rich man. And I'm thankful to God for giving me that life and giving me what I had. I mean, without a doubt, I made sacrifices. I didn't have a wife. I didn't have family. But God built me that way for a reason. And we're here today. And I'm going to carry that cross. I'm going to fulfill the reason He built me.
This statement, steeped in a sense of righteousness and determination, foreshadowed the chaos that was about to be unleashed upon the unsuspecting town of Granby. The birth of the Killdozer marked a turning point in Marvin's life, a moment when his simmering anger and resentment finally boiled over into a concrete plan for revenge. As he put the finishing touches on his creation, he knew that the day of reckoning was fast approaching. The once peaceful mountain town of Granby was about to witness a rampage, unlike anything it had ever seen, as Marvin prepared to unleash the full fury of the Killdozer upon those he believed had wronged him. The stage was set for a day that would forever be remembered, a day when one man's desperation and ingenuity would collide with the unsuspecting residents of Granby, leaving a trail of destruction and chaos in its wake. On the fateful morning of June 4, 2004, the residents of Granby awoke to a scene of unimaginable destruction as Marvin Heemeyer, behind the controls of his armored Killdozer, began his rampage of revenge. The once peaceful mountain town was thrust into chaos as the makeshift tank, forged in secret and fueled by Marvin's desperation, smashed through the wall of his own muffler shop, signaling the start of a day that would forever change the face of the community. As the Killdozer roared down the streets, its first target came into view: the concrete plant owned by Cody Dochev. Marvin, his eyes fixed on retribution, maneuvered the behemoth machine towards the facility, obliterating 2 buildings as Dochev and his workers watched in stunned disbelief. The sheer power of the Killdozer was immediately evident, its thick armor deflecting the futile attempts of police to stop its advance with a shotgun and M4 rounds. Undeterred by the authorities' efforts, Marvin pressed on, leaving a trail of wreckage in his wake. The front facade of Mountain Parks Electric crumbled under the relentless onslaught of the Killdozer, followed swiftly by the decimation of the Maple Street Builders building. As the rampage continued, Marvin set his sights on the very institutions he believed had wronged him, reducing the Granby Town Hall and police station to rubble, all while miraculously avoiding any loss of life. The Killdozer's armor, painstakingly crafted by Marvin's hands, proved to be an almost impenetrable shield against the desperate attempts of law enforcement to halt its progress. Over a foot thick in places, with concrete sandwiched between layers of hardened steel, the makeshift tank shrugged off round after round, leaving the police and SWAT teams scrambling for a way to end the destruction. Even efforts to disable Marvin's cameras, which he used to navigate the Killdozer's path, were thwarted by 3-inch bulletproof plastic. As the day wore on, Marvin's rampage showed no signs of abating. The Liberty Savings Bank and Sky High News fell victim to the Killdozer's wrath, as did the copycat printing company, located down a dirt road. Armed with a Ruger Mini 14, an FN-FNC, and a Barrett M82 fitted into the machine's gun ports, Marvin exchanged fire with the authorities, their rounds ricocheting off the Killdozer's hardened shell. Even a potentially catastrophic attempt to ignite a pile of propane tanks was averted by a design flaw in the Killdozer's firing angle. It was only when the Killdozer reached Gambles, its final target, that the rampage came to an end. The machine, its anti-freeze lines blown, began to smoke and shudder. As it fell into the building's basement, one of its tracks suspended in mid-air, Marvin realized that his creation could no longer move. Faced with the inevitable, he made the decision to end his own life with a pistol, the Killdozer now his steel tomb. In the wake of Marvin Heemeyer's devastating rampage, the town of Granby was left to pick up the pieces and begin the long, arduous process of healing. As the authorities worked tirelessly to cut through the Killdozer's armor, a process that took over 7 hours, they discovered a chilling scene within. Marvin's lifeless body, surrounded by his weapons, a video camera, 3 monitors, a fan to keep him cool, and a single bottle of sparkling water. Some saw him as a tragic hero, a man pushed to the brink by perceived injustices, while others viewed him as a dangerous vigilante whose actions could not be justified. The Killdozer itself became a subject of morbid fascination, with fears that it might become a macabre tourist attraction. To prevent this, the machine was meticulously dismantled, its parts scattered across various junkyards, forever erasing the physical remnants of that fateful day. Marvin's friends, in a somber ceremony, spread his ashes in the Colorado mountains he so loved, a final tribute to a man whose desperation had led him down a path of no return. In the years since the incident, Granby has slowly but steadily worked to rebuild, both physically and emotionally. The scars left by Marvin's rampage may never fully heal, but the community has shown resilience in the face of tragedy. So was he a villain or a hero? Let us know in the comments section. For more documentary videos, please make sure to subscribe and turn on the post notification bell.